Hey, Dad, I'm hungry. We got something to eat? How about you eat these troops? I got some troops you can eat. I got National Guard troops and I got Metro PD troops. What you want? Huh? Law and order, what you need. If that law and order, stick to your ribs. Shout out to all of the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled.
Let me be crystal clear. Crime in DC is ending and ending today. We are going to use every power we have to fight criminals here. President, thank you for caring about our capital.
Oh, they leaving? Does that mean they leaving the White House? No, because they're the criminal. I'm confused. Are they at least going to take Commanders off the football team? Because that name is a crime. It absolutely is. President Trump significantly escalated his efforts to exert federal authority over the nation's capital on Monday, saying he was temporarily taking control of the city's police department and deploying 800 National Guard troops to fight crime there. At a White House news conference, the president painted a dystopian picture of Washington, including bloodthirsty criminals and roving mobs of wild youth that stood in sharp contrast to official figures showing violent crime in the city is at a 30-year low. Okay. I'm going to put facts to the side for a moment. Roving mobs of wild youth and bloodthirsty criminals, it sounds kind of super predatorish, doesn't it? Right? Isn't that what all the MAGAs was saying? Oh, look at what now we're getting roving mobs of wild youth and bloodthirsty criminals. Bloodthirsty criminals. Where have I heard that before? Oh, all last year when you were talking about Latinos.
And we're here for a very serious purpose, Something's out of control, but we're going to put it in control very quickly like we did on the southern border. I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening, and they've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. And you people are victims of it, too. You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed. And you all know people and friends of yours that happened. And so you can be anything you want, but you want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go into a store to buy a newspaper or buy something. And you don't have that now.
Ooh, we are going to take our capital back. Ooh, we want our cap. I'm gonna have to slow cook this. Because y'all know where I'm from and where I'm at. And I'm gonna be honest with you, this gonna be one of them ones. I gotta slow cook this one right here. Trump, who's we? Who's we? Huh? We want the capital back? Who's we? Is we the Trump administration? Because y'all just got here. I got spider webs on my porch. Been there longer than y'all been here. In fact, y'all had to be evicted and forcibly removed the last time y'all was here. And we shouldn't have rented to y'all again. There's no way we should have rented to, because you got to put that down on the application. It's no way you should have ever been in this position again. I want to know why the bar is lower for our elected officials, as evidenced by him getting this whole job with felonies. And why? Why is that? Oh, because of the economy, which he's supposed to be entrusted with bankruptcies. That's right. Now, if we is not the Trump administration, is we you, Trump? Is that you? Are you we? Because you from New York, even though they don't claim you no more. In fact, since I started this video, they done took your name off 2 more buildings. That must be why you so desperate to get Cuomo back in there. And while I'm on the topic, have some pride, bro. Have some pride. You lost the primary. I mean, come on, man. You out here like the Kansas City Chiefs challenging the Eagles after the Super Bowl, talking about best 2 out of 3. Pack it up. Pack it up. You knew it was bad when he attacked Mom Donnie by saying he's a Nepo baby and then ended his rant with who his father is. And you can't even keep a steady narrative through a tweet storm. Now, while we speaking of New York, Trump, have you weaponized your Justice Department against Letitia James yet?
Department of Justice issued 2 subpoenas to the office of New York Attorney General Letitia James. It comes more than a year after James won a civil fraud case against President Trump for hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh, that's right. He did, because it's not lawfare when Trump does it. Just like all that cancel culture. It only applies when it's coming from the one direction. Ain't that right, MAGAs? Well, who y'all trying to go at now? Cause South Park is kicking y'all.
We don't ask for experience, just show up. We don't care if you've read a book or grown up.
If you want to know just how big a farce this was, go no further than his comments on cashless bail, which he was released on 3 times.
Radical left city council adopted no cash bail. By the way, every place in the country where you have no cash bail is a disaster. That's what started the problem in New York, and they don't change it. They don't want to change it. That's what started it in Chicago. I mean, bad politicians started it, bad leadership started it, but that was the one thing that's central, no cash bail. Somebody murders somebody and they're out on no cash bail before the day is out. We're going to end that in Chicago. We're going to change the statute. I spoke with Pam and Todd and everybody. We're going to change the statute, and I'm going to have to get the Republicans to vote because the Democrats are weak on crime, totally weak on crime. They don't know why. They want to stop because they get mugged too. But we're going to change no cash bail. We're going to change the statute and get rid of some of the other things. And we'll count on the Republicans in Congress and Senate to vote. We have the majority, so we'll vote. We don't have a big majority, but we've gotten everything, including the great, big, beautiful bill. Got that done, and that's one of the greatest things that's ever happened to people in this country.
So, Trump, you left New York, and no, you didn't go to D.C. You went to Florida, and you definitely don't want us talking about your time in Florida. Now, do you?
President Donald Trump attending the opening of a controversial new detention center in South Florida.
But you know who does keep talking about your time in Florida is J.D. Vance.
Full transparency, but I have to say, Maria, I laugh at the Democrats who are now all of a sudden so interested in the Epstein files. For 4 years, Joe Biden and the Democrats did absolutely nothing about this story. We know that Jeffrey Epstein had a lot of connections with left-wing politicians and left-wing billionaires, and now President Trump has demanded full transparency from this, and yet somehow the Democrats are attacking him.
Now, there's a lot of instances to show the difference between the left and the right, or MAGAs and normal society. Here's one. You say it was a lot of left-wing donors and politicians that were on the planes, were on that list. That's fine. Pack them up. Pack them up. And that's the difference. Now though, after all of this, we're supposed to believe that y'all are concerned about crime, despite the fact that data shows violent crime in D.C. was down 26% as of Friday, with the mayor saying we're not experiencing a spike in crime. In fact, we're watching our crime numbers go down. Here you see the statistics right here. But you don't believe the people who are directly in charge of D.C. who would know We want to believe the one with a narrative to push, who never saw a number he wouldn't fudge or outright lie about to push that narrative. In fact, didn't you just fire the guy in charge of labor statistics?
Kind of an important side note here, too, is that Stephen Moore, the former economic advisor to President Trump, who is now outside of the government, was in the Oval Office presenting this data that he said is not publicly available. So how did he get his hands on it if he isn't working in the government? That is one question. But I think the bigger question here is the alarms over just the presentation of this data, which is basically unfact checkable by us and our colleagues in the media. And that is because allegedly this is census data, as purported by Stephen Moore, that they have access to, but the rest of the world does not, regarding monthly estimates of net change in real median household income. This was a chart that looked like this. It showed median income rising since January 20th, when, of course, the president began his second term. So that is certainly a good narrative for the White House, but a narrative that we are unable to fact check in the absence of seeing the data.
And we supposed to believe the numbers coming out of your mouth? Meanwhile, the labor statistics, they were back adjusting the numbers, making them worse than what was initially reported. So you report something and then come to find out later it was way worse than that. That sounds like he should get a promotion in Trump world. And while we're at it, shout out to MSNBC for throwing the fact check right on the screen. We definitely need more of that. And by the way, if you don't trust the left-wing media and MSNBC, or you don't want to trust a radical leftist mayor of DC and Muriel Bowser, how about you trust Kash Patel?
Our children, and the murder rates are plummeting. We are now able to report that the murder rate is on track to be the lowest in U.S. history, in modern recorded U.S. history, thanks to this team behind me and President Trump's priorities.
That's what he said the same day. The same day, the same press conference where he says he needs to take control of the National Guard and the DC police. They're touting how low the crime is. They can't even keep a steady narrative through one press conference. His man had the nerve to say, you don't need more police, you just need rules and regulations, during the press conference where he's sending in more police.
And at the Metropolitan Police Department, it's now reached a small number relatively compared to what it was, but it's thousands of people. You know, we have thousands of police. I was told today, sir, they want more police. I heard a number, 3,500 police. That's a lot of police. 3,500. I thought they were going to say we only have 30 policemen or women. He said, we have 3,500. We need more. You don't need more. That's so many. I never heard. That's like an army. How could you need more than 3,000? It just happened 2 minutes ago. Sir, they've requested more police. Oh, what do they have? About 3,500. I said, 3,500? This is not a big area. It's ridiculous. What you need is rules and regulations, and you need the right people to implement them. And we have the right people here, that I can tell you. Look at the border.
Yes, I don't think that's fair to Trump to hold him to that high of a standard, because honestly, he don't even know where he's at. I think he still thinks Alaska belongs to Russia.
See, this is a tragic emergency. And it's embarrassing for me to be up here. You know, I'm going to see Putin. I'm going to Russia on Friday. I don't like being up here talking about how unsafe and how dirty and disgusting this once beautiful capital was, with graffiti all over the walls. It's another part of it, but
I'm not even sure he knows what federalize means. I know he's used federalize a lot. I don't know if he thinks that's just some kind of Ryu fireball that you shoot at stuff and say, I'm just going to federalize. I'm not sure he even knows what that is. He out here sounding like that grandma that tries to give you advice.
Y'all, don't worry about what people say about you. They're going to try to belittle you. They're going to try to cellularize your name. They're going to try to sabotage you. They're going to just try to do anything they're trying to do to destroy you.
If he going to federalize something, it need to be J.D. Vance's trainer. Huh? Oh, he back on vacation? He always on vacation. That must be why everybody wanted the VP spot. You just vacation for 4 years. You know, unless they all come into your house to discuss how to handle the Epstein thing. Who crying? Byron, get over it.
And we're getting rid of the slums, too. We have slums here. We're getting rid of them. I know it's not politically correct. You'll say, oh, so terrible. No, we're getting rid of the slums where they live.
Shout out to Patriot Takes for this. This man's talking about getting rid of the slums when, according to Grok, yes, it's fair to call Fred Trump and Donald Trump slumlords based on historical accounts of their real estate practices, including the 1973 civil rights lawsuit for discriminatory housing practices and reports of poor property maintenance, though they were never officially convicted or labeled as such legally. And this about sums it up. Shout out to Congressman Espaillat. Using military force against an impoverished civilian population is the act of a dictator, not a president. Donald Trump's actions to declare a public safety emergency against individuals experiencing homelessness and personally attacking them is vile and inhumane. That's right. If the police takeover wasn't as out of pocket and ill-advised enough, we get this. Trump says homeless people in D.C. have to move out immediately. Last year marked the lowest level of violent crime in D.C. in more than 30 years, where President Trump has raised concerns about public safety in the city, teasing a plan that would also target its homeless population. The homeless have to move out immediately. We will give you places to stay, but far from the capital. Hey, Dad, I'm hungry. We got something to eat? How about you eat these troops? I got some troops you can eat. I got National Guard troops and I got Metro PD troops. What you want? Huh? Law and order, what you need. That law and order, stick to your ribs. That's right. Nothing says fighting for everyday Americans like sending in troops for the homeless problem. Now, we understand that this whole narrative gained steam after the assault of the Doge staffer earlier this month. And boy, they couldn't get enough of that on the right wing. I tell you that. Had the nerve to go and say, oh, if the races were reversed, if the races were reversed, how about this? If the races were reversed, you think we'd be getting the National Guard sent in? Huh? If the races were reversed, you think we'd be getting the National Guard sent in? This goes back to that trade that I keep offering y'all to trade and y'all never take it. Y'all complain about y'all can say in and we can't say in and we can't do braids and we can't do blackface and y'all have Black Entertainment Television and y'all got Black History Month and the media, if the races were reversed. That deal is still on the table. Not only have I not had any contact, nobody has even considered the deal I put on the table. Once again, all you have to relinquish is control of the government, our financial structure, and the media. That's it. You know, then we could do things like send in the National Guard just because we feel like it and we want to throw Elon Musk a bone about white oppression. That's it. That's all you have. But then after that, this is where they got real desperate. There was this. This is how, you know, a lot of this stuff is coordinated. So y'all saw all of these videos hit the timeline right here. All these videos had a bunch of bots and no-name accounts posting the same thing word for word. I saw this all this weekend. I ain't seen propaganda that lazy since Charlie Kirk. Literally word for word. We get breaking. Shots are ringing out in Washington, D.C.'s Navy Yard, less than 1 mile from the Capitol building. Sir, tell me you've never been to a city without telling me you've never been to a city. You know how much of the city you can cover in a mile radius? Do you have any idea how much of the city you can cover in a 1 mile radius? In fact, Every time the Trump administration pulls another grip, it affects my property value. You know what I mean? That's how I know. That's how I know they're doing dirt. I get a notification from Zillow. And if you're really concerned about it, how about this? All of this happened within 1 foot of the White House.
Tonight, Donald Trump will have a secret dinner and meeting with the 200 individuals who have spent the most money buying up his meme coin. Donald Trump's meme coin has no value in and of itself. Its only value is based upon how much demand exists for the meme coin. He creates demand by essentially opening a channel for bribery. If you buy his coin, the price goes up and he makes more money. If you buy his coin, you get secret access to the president to be able to plead your case, to be able to ask for preferential treatment. And the extra benefit is no one will ever know that you bought the coin or that you got the private access.
Now, if you're wondering, and shout out to Make America Trill again, almost 8% of DC is less than 1 mile from the Capitol. There are 20 plus local and federal law enforcement agencies in the district. From the video for A Gun with No One Injured, the response was pretty robust and swift. This is narrative building and fear mongering. And you know what? Far be it for me to throw another log on your fear mongering. Well, if you thought that was bad, all of that happening right in the White House, how about this? All of this happened within 1 foot of the Capitol.
5 to 50 be advised, Capitol Police 1 advised they're trying to breach and get into the Capitol.
And now I'm about to really blow your mind. Now you're going to get real mad now. Now you're going to get mad. Can you believe they all at home right now? Can you believe they all home at right now? What do you say? Swaths of criminals? They're all at home. Talk about a miscarriage of justice. Well, you know what? Not all of them are at home. Some of them got rearrested. Yeah, it's almost like they were criminals. But then again, some of them landed on their feet. How about this? Video shows Department of Justice official urging J6 rioters to, quote, unalive cops. Less than 5 years after urging rioters to unalive police at the Capitol, a former J6 defendant is working as a senior advisor for the Department of Justice, which has been dramatically remade under the second Trump administration. NPR has obtained police body cam footage from multiple angles of the former defendant and current administration official Jared Wise berating officers and calling them Yahtzee and Gestapo. NPR located the footage, which has not previously been published, in a review of thousands of court exhibits from J6 criminal cases obtained through legal action by a coalition of media organizations. NPR has also obtained the transcript of Wise's testimony in which he acknowledged that he repeatedly yelled "kill him" as officers were being attacked and tried to explain his actions. But now I'm supposed to believe that the same guy who not only sympathized with the J6ers, called them hostages, went and played them singing the national anthem at his campaign events, promised to pardon them, then pardoned them, then hired for the Department of Justice, is concerned about crime. Is that what you're selling? And as a matter of fact, let's stay on January 6th, why don't we? And shout out to Harry Sisson for pressing this point. So MAGA, let me get this straight. On January 6th, Donald Trump didn't have the power to deploy the National Guard, but now he could send the National Guard into DC to conduct law enforcement. Please explain that one. And JoJo from Jurors always coming through. So Donald Trump's going to send the National Guard to Washington, D.C. today when the people of D.C. don't need them, after refusing to deploy them on January 6th when the people of Washington, D.C. did. But now we're supposed to believe that Trump and his administration are concerned about crime. Not the stuff on the White House or the Capitol, None of that is to be worried about. I wonder what the difference is. I wonder what the difference is. That's crazy. And by the way, this is the part where I bring in all of the black people, because there was some of us too who wanted to flood the timeline with footage talking about it is out of control. It's about time somebody did something. Let me ask y'all find it fascinating how as soon as he started talking about DC and federalizing DC and, dare I say, needed some more distraction from Epstein, all of a sudden these videos start flooding the timeline? Huh? Even ones that are literally nothing, as the one that I just saw that they tried to gas. You don't find that suspicious? Here's another question. Do you find it interesting? Because obviously they're really concerned about crime. You know, we really got to do something about the crime. Did he say anything about a jobs program? Did he say anything about a jobs program? Did he say anything about any kind of education grants or anything like that? Huh? Did he say anything about any investment into the communities? Huh? Did he say anything about food deserts or nutrition or anything like that? How about with the homeless that he said they just got to get away from the Capitol? Did he offer them any kind of assistance or training or anything like that to get back on their feet? No addressing or even acknowledging the litany of factors that contribute to our societal ills. Just more police. Just policing. This man done cut jobs, because we seen what he did to the federal government. This man done cut jobs, threatening to cut benefits, exploding the debt, while he's in the White House doing God knows what, and got y'all glad handing more police on the street. Really? And about those police, by the way, who are being brought in, y'all saw the footage. So you know exactly what it is. Matter of fact, the man said, do whatever the hell they want. Didn't he say do whatever the hell they want?
I've watched that for years, for 3-4 years. I've watched them. The police are standing, and they're told, don't do anything under any search. So and you can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there, and people are spitting in their face, and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want.
Hey, unless it's a MAGA. Because if it's a MAGA, we know exactly what side he's going to come down on, even to the point of losing their life. We know what side he's going to come down on. So to those black people, once again, who are they being brought in to handle and deal with? Now that we done seen all of that. And you want to glad hand this.
And at your direction this morning, we've mobilized the D.C. National Guard. It'll be operationalized by the Secretary of the Army, Dan Driscoll, through the D.C. Guard. You will see them flowing into the streets of Washington in the coming week. At your direction as well, sir, there are other units we are prepared to bring in. Other National Guard units, other specialized units. They will be strong, they will be tough, and they will stand with their law enforcement partners. This is nothing new for DOD. As the president noted, at the border, we've got 10,000 troops down there who've been operating in defense cooperation areas, defense zones, where there's zero illegal crossings because of troops on strikers scanning the border. We've been protecting other people's borders for 20 years. It's about time we protect our own. And we're working with ICE and CBP. In Los Angeles, we did the same thing.
Oh, snap. It's a Pete Hegseth sighting. Hey, hey, did you go to church Sunday? Did you? I know you did. Yeah, we gonna address that whole thing. Don't worry. I got a whole video coming for you. But right now, we are dealing with this. And I think this whole thing can be summed up thusly. The thing about Trump deploying the National Guard to evict homeless people in D.C., he's implicated in the Epstein files. And scene. All of it. And we knew this was coming weeks ago. We knew when Congress went out of session, he was going to have to find a way to bridge this gap. All of this to distract away from the clamor for him publishing the Epstein files. Y'all think he's coming for you, to protect you, when he's done time and time again has shown you he's willing to demonize just about anybody, but especially if they're black or brown, in order to achieve his aims. Yes, that's right. The one thing that he said that I could co-sign, is when he says, we want our capital back. And he actually said it better when on True Social, where he said, we want our city back. On behalf of actual DC natives and residents, you got that part right. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out. And special shout out to those of you that have given me such warm feedback for the newsletter. That really means a lot, because I know how hard Regina works on that. It's something we thought would add a lot of value to the channel. If you have any thoughts on additions or suggestions for the newsletter, you could hit me up at admin@reesewaters.com.
Okay, here it is. Check it out. I got it. Why don't we open up a take-in restaurant?
And if you haven't gotten a chance to check it out, you can over at patreon.com/ReesWaters. You can sign up for a free account, and that will give you access to the monthly newsletter. There's also the weekly newsletter that is part of the offerings in deep water and troubled water.
If you don't want to play that way, don't play that way. Break.
Also, a part of those offerings, merch discounts. Those will be coming soon, and those can be accessed either on Patreon or membership right here on YouTube. And there's some new merch that's about to hit the website. Just stay tuned. That is reesewaters.com.
I got one more idea. Rent-a-spoons. Yeah, see, we serve them soup for free. Rent them spoons.
Is that a racist of the week? I tell you, like, I catch 3 and it's always one roaming around, you know what I mean? They reproduce like bunnies.
Congratulations!
What is it with America and racism? They just can't give it up, like apple pie and baseball and second families. I'm gonna start a new account if y'all keep playing. No, I'm serious. I'm already stacking them. You get a racist of the week, you get a racist of the week, you get a racist of the week. I'm out here making it rain like it's Magic City. But for racists,